So we will need 2 blocks and a blanket. Today's practice will be primal movement, human natural movement combo with a little bit of animal movement. So we'll get started in a kneeling position today. And feel free to have a block or 2 underneath because we'll be here for a little bit. Really important to vary the ways that we sit and also on the ground. And that will be another focus of practice today. Varied movement, exploring life out of our cages and the linear living of modern day life. Let's first start by the palms resting on the thighs and allow yourself to close your eyes or have a soft gaze. Dropping down into your body through the breath. Soften the space in between your ears and breathing an acknowledgement of your 3-dimensionality. So allow this to be a practice of acknowledging your 3-dimensionality, your movement possibilities as we explore the places and spaces, the corners of our internal landscape and our external landscape that have not been explored in a while. Slowly opening your eyes, head rolls. Nice way to soften any overthinking, being too much into our heads. Soften this area and drop your awareness down into your body. You could do full circles. Just make sure you're not throwing your head back. About 2 more times each direction. And coming back to center, prepping our wrist. Bring your palms together in almost like a different reverse prayer pose. Flip onto the back of your hands so thumbs will face away. Relax your shoulders and bring the entire surface area of the back of your hands together best you can, and then lower it down as much as fair and friendly. Yeah. Soften your face and your eyeballs. Introducing a sense of curiosity and especially playfulness today. We will explore non-traditional ways to approach more traditional postures. Slowly releasing, lift the wrist up and roll along the edges of your hands like a dancing lotus flower. 3 more times, one direction, and then 5 more times the other direction. We'll also explore today the human potential of our hands. Working on grip strength as we prep our hands for any weight-bearing shapes. Good, then release your arms forward. Curl your fingertips in, thumbs in front, create a little bit of resistance, and we will flick repetitively here. You can think of anything you want to flick away as we strengthen our fingers and our wrist. Good, for 3, 2, and 1. And bring your arms to the side for about 6 to 8. I know we all love starting off with the flick. That's why I directed the fingers away from me after 4 rounds. 2, and 1, and up for 6, 5, 4. Oh yeah, awakening muscles that haven't been woken up in a while. And slowly release, shake it down, and boy, let that go. And reach your arms out to the sides. Right elbow underneath the left, eagle arms. First, lift the elbows up and down, up and down. And you can have opposite hand, opposite shoulder. And let's add the movements of the spine. So lift the elbows, lift the back of the heart. Chin could be moving with the elbows. And now round inward, puff up the back of your heart, the space in between your shoulder blades. Now circle 3 times each direction, freeing up your back body. Allowing this practice to be a practice of moving better, moving well, as we acknowledge our movement potential. Last round. Release the arms, reach up, and other side. Left elbow underneath a couple times, up and down. Let the shoulder blades lift up and down. Meeting with the elbows up, lift the back of the heart. So it's a slight extension of the spine. Exhale, rounding inward. 3 times circle, focusing on the thoracic spine. We're not making anything too crisp. We're letting go of right way and wrong way of moving. Bringing it to center, release your arms up and release your hands down. Press down through the tops of your feet. Begin to walk it forward, shift the weight forward. If you're using a block, you can use it again. We'll come into a half squat, bringing your right foot forward and sit down on your left heel. Now you may need a block or two here. We'll be here for a little bit. So the knee, the heel that you're sitting on, that thigh bone will be a little bit more to the side here. Bring your fingertips forward, different way of sitting, and then round through the spine, bring your pelvis back, flexion, and a posterior tilt of your pelvis. So we're mapping out the movements of our body. And then the opposite, you can press the fingertips down and energetically pull them back as you come into extension, more like cow pose. And do that 2 more times. Rhythm of your own breath. Good. They bring it to center, and now rib rotation, a rotation along the spine. Place your hands wherever you like. 3 times each direction. So exploring cages that we make for ourselves as far as movement goes. Lateral bending now, and you could reach the opposite arm up to the side in which you are laterally flexing. Even our mats can create limits in our movement, right? The rectangles of our mats are pretty linear, so we want to explore a little bit more of the spaces in between those planes. And now moving any way that feels good. So the planes, the spaces in between the planes that we just explored, make it your own. Allow it to be playful. So again, we did flexion, extension, rotation, and lateral flexion. Explore another point, touch another point that you didn't touch before. Again, you can use your arms to reach up. Allow your breath to support you. And we'll explore now the dance between contraction and expansion, or looking inward and expanding outward. So taking your left hand to the left by you, lift the hips and extend out through your right leg. It's almost like a gate variation pose, and then make your way where you started, that half primal squat, touching the earth at a different point each time, maybe even placing your left hand at a different place each time. And noticing which shape feels more familiar to you, the one that is looking inward or the one that is expanding outward, right? You feel like you need a little bit more of one than the other. The looking inward being reflection or privacy. Maybe the outward one, reaching out, being seen, taking up space. Which one do you long for more right now? We'll do one more. And let's meet center. No rush, mindfully transitioning to the other side. So again, you could use a block if you need. Moving slowly, you might feel a little stuck on that bottom foot. And we'll do half primal squat. Fingertips to the ground, or you could bring the ground closer with a block or your blanket. Flexion and extension. So as you round through the spine, let the pelvis tilt back. And pelvis tilts forward and cow-like posture. So 3 times in each plane. These are movement planes These are planes of movement, traditional planes of movement, and we'll explore the spaces and places in between after we acknowledge these planes of movement, rotation through the ribs and the thoracic spine. And if there's anywhere you're like, oh, I want to stay here longer, go for it. Lateral flexion, side bending, side to side. As some of us have heard, it's not necessarily like the sitting that is bad for us. It's said that the sitting is the new smoking. Move in the places and spaces in between those planes that you just did, but rather it's the lack of variety in the way we sit. So we've already explored 2 different ways to sit. One, sitting on your heels, and this is a half primal squat. And these are some ideas to vary and balance out your habitual patterns of being and moving. And right hand to the right. Expand, lift up your hips, extend out through your left leg, and lower down, touching the earth, if you can, at a different point each time. Again, this dance of expansion and contraction without collapsing as you look inward. About 4 more here. Noticing which one you may need more of, which one feels like home. Without any judgments, nothing you need to do with that information right now, just noticing. And we'll slowly release and make your way onto your hands and knees. No rush onto all fours. You may want to circle your ankles after all that plantar flexion. Wiggle your toes. Let's curl the toes under. Round through your spine. Come into a cat. Keep the roundedness through your spine. Bring your hips back. 2 more times like that. Inhale, forward. Exhale and round. 1 more time. Neutral and exhale, round. Pause here, a couple cycles of breath. Keep that roundedness through the spine. Tilt your pelvis back. Tilt your pelvis back. Good. Sides of the waist back for 3, 2, and 1. Bringing it forward. Bring your hands together. So bring your thumbs together. We'll explore a different type of downward facing dog. Bring your feet together and lift your hips up and bend your knees. You can straighten your legs a little or a lot. And this is another example of busting out of our self-made cages as we explore different ways of doing traditional things. The case being here, shapes. Now bring your hands super wide as the mat, and feet as wide as the mat. And you can begin to shift the weight right and left, or even circle around like 4 times each direction. We could still maintain a sense of familiarity and also add in variability. Feel what it feels like to make changes. Let's bring it to a more traditional downward facing dog just for a moment. Walk your right hand forward and your left foot forward and stretch back. All right, practicing being a little off center. Because really life off the mat is not always so even, not always so centered. And switching. This time, left hand forward, left foot forward, and stretch back. Notice how it feels to be a little off center, asymmetrical. And slowly bring it all the way back to center. Walk your hands back to your feet. Ragdoll. Bend your knees so much belly touches your thighs. Unload your spine, release your head, let your thoughts drip down to the ground. Letting go of anything, any habits, anything that no longer serves you positively, even though it did at one time. You could grab onto opposite tricep with opposite hand. You could rest your pinkies in your elbow creases. Think of one thing that you can let go of. It could be the way that you think things should be or need to be in a certain situation. Release your hands to the ground. Roll it on up, press through your feet, especially your heels, roll it on up. One vertebrae at a time. Head is the last thing to come on up. Let's grab onto our blankets. It could be nicer to have a thicker blanket. I only brought a smaller one because it was easier to travel with today, but a towel will work well also. And fold it up in a way that you can place it on top of your head and balance it. You could also use a block if you want to. Yeah, where it'd be like kind of even. So sometimes with these blankets, you could fold it in thirds like this, especially with the ones with the fringes, and then fold it. Yeah, so we're gonna practice what cultures do that carry stuff on their head. That includes our culture. And the shook in the market, I saw someone recently carrying on their heads. Good. And then you're gonna take your basket or whatever you're carrying, bring your feet into your, take it into your hands, bend your knees, place it down on the ground. So this is functional human movement, and come onto your hands and knees. Kneeling again, basket on your head. We haven't done this together, have we? I don't think we have. Yes, make sure this is because everybody was taking themselves too seriously. Remember, it's just here, and we're just carrying baskets on our head. Axial extension. This is our feedback. This is our feedback for yay, axial extension. So and think of, instead of thinking the crown of the head up, think of keeping the back of the neck nice and long. So when we carry baskets on our head or blankets or pillows or blocks, we can't do any overextension or flexion forward folding. Bring in awareness, what we did last class. Engage the bottom fibers of your glutes. Stand up on your knees. Best you can, slide your right foot forward. Now here comes last class. Press through the right heel. You lose a basket or a block or two, it's all good. Curl the back toes under. Press through the heel, relationship between sitting bone and glutes, and stand up. Yay! We're getting ready to go to the market. Same foot steps back, left foot back. Think up as you lower down, pressing through the right heel as you lower. And slide your right knee back. Ta-da! And have a seat on your heels. Yeah, no one's taking themselves too seriously now. Soft face, soft eyeballs. Left leg is going to lead on the next round. Lift, slide your left foot forward, curl the back toes under, press to the left heel, engage the left glute, stand on up. Nice, and we'll switch. Right foot back. Ooh, I'm slowly dancing, but I kept the basket on. And lower down. We're gonna do two more times each side. Slow as you like. Just make sure whatever pace you're taking that's yours, it's mindful. Pressing through the right heel, that front heel, and you're pressing through that front heel, lengthening upward as you lower down. Yeah, it's a block party. We'll do a total of 2 times each side. No rush. No rush. Arms to the side for balance if you like, whatever you want to do with the, about one more each side. Pressing through that standing foot. And down. Oh, yeah. Thinking up as you lower down. Pressing to the front heel, of course. Core awareness. And we'll make one more round all the way up to standing. We will meet. Pressing through the front heel. And take your basket and unload yourself and breathe here. Yeah, no, it's all good. We'll meet at the top. Now you're gonna take your blanket once you're at the top, or your basket, separate your feet, weight into your heels, bend the knees, place the blanket or the basket down, hands to the hips, press to the heels, come on up. All right, so we explore different ways to lift yourself up from a seated position to standing. Everyday human movement. Placing your right foot now on your blanket, which will now be an uneven surface. We'll find our footing through the unevenness of the surface of the ground physically and also certain situations off the mat. So press down and swing your left leg to the side and arms to the side. So now we're asking the muscles of our feet to do a little bit more work. So making sure, again, you're not taking yourself too seriously, soft face, soft eyeballs. You can feel all those little joints and muscles of your feet responding and working for you. This is real life training. Life off the mat is not a perfect rectangle or an even surface. We're practicing exactly for that. For another 3, you may feel the ankles working. 2, and 1, settle to center, and pause and notice both feet on the ground. Notice if there's a difference between the 2 sides. Other side, left foot on. And we swing, and we balance, and we breathe. In order to respond from a place of integrity or to have a quote unquote right response, we need to be able to breathe. Right? We want a sense of adaptability and stability, not rigidity. For another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly releasing, feeling the difference. That blanket makes you work. Oh, to squat properly, or not properly, but one way to do it. Again, feet could be wide, hinging at the hips, bend the knees, grab onto your blanket, put it to the side, and come on up to standing. Okay, blocks now. Blocks will now be our favorite prop. Place them at the top of the mat. And we'll stand at the top of the mat behind the blocks. We'll find a squat here, more like a chair pose. Bend your knees, reach your arms up. And as you exhale, lower your hands to the blocks, flip them onto the low setting, and now step back into a plank pose, a high push-up position, and bring your feet together. Feet together, yeah, already a different plank pose. Different surface with the blocks lifting your upper body up and bringing your feet together. Squatty dog. Bring the hips back, knees wide. Bring it forward, and now turn your head to the right. We're also varying our gaze and our head. Squatty dog. Float it forward, turn your head to the left. Keep on keeping on. Bringing those feet together and the knees wide. Might feel some fire in your lower body. We'll do 2 more times each direction looking over your shoulder. And now we add on some lunges. So after this next squatty dog, keep looking back, and begin to keep looking back. Come into like a plank, but reaching or bringing your right foot forward. Keep looking back until your right foot's hovering outside of your right foot. Then lower the right foot down, and then press down and extend the spine, look forward. So when you look forward before your foot comes forward, you might have further to go with your right foot. Now look back, round through the spine. You're bringing your pelvis back and rounding like cat. Lift your right foot to hover and place the right foot to meet the left squatty dog. And the other side, keep looking back as you bring your left foot forward. Keep looking at the back foot until left foot's hovering outside of left block. Lower the left foot down and then press down and open up through the heart and extend your gaze. Look down, look inward, round through the spine so your pelvis becomes more buoyant. You're like more bringing the frontal hip points back. Lift the left foot to hover and left foot meets the right squatty dog. Now your own rhythm, however way you like, whatever pace, and really acknowledging the postures in between the postures, the points between point A and point B. A lot of times with the transition of bringing the back foot forward, it can be helpful, honoring the biomechanics of our body, to keep looking back until that foot comes forward and then extend through the spine. About 10 more seconds. All right, you can also pick it up if you want. Make it more bouncy, a little bit more springy and speedy. And we'll meet in squatty dog to plank and separate your feet hip width apart. Now allow the hips to lower down and come into a variation of up dog. You can stay with the feet curled under or untuck them. Look inward now, round it back into downward facing dog. Bring your feet together, squatty dog. Step your left foot to the outside of your left block. Step your right foot forward and come into a squat. Bring your hands together, or like we did the other day, fingertips together, elbows wide. We'll squat down into the heels, then lift your right heel and squat. Both heels down and left heel. And we do our bouncy squats here. We're finding our footing and we're acknowledging the power in our legs. We'll do this for about another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Both heels on the ground, pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Standing tall. Woo, nice. Shake it out. Shake, shake, shake. Right, we need to have our muscles be able to release as much as they are able to contract. Okay. We will find our blocks again. So bend your knees, grab onto your blocks, bring them onto the tall side, and stand up. We're going to squat now, but with the feet about pelvis width apart and facing forward. Pelvis width. Bring the blocks together like this. So squeeze them together and sit back. So the toes stay down, but more of the weight into your heels, and we might lose a block or two. It's all good. It's a block party. And then press down through the heels. Lift up using your glutes, heels and glutes together. Press the blocks back and look over your right shoulder. And blocks together, squat. Stand tall, look to the left. Keep alternating. So really important also to vary our gaze, in which way our head turns, following the gaze of our eyeballs. And we're also working on our grip strength. Very important human skill. Let's do 2 more. Looking at each direction. And we'll meet at the top, reaching the arms up. Press the blocks together. Oh yeah. And now blocks behind you and squeeze them together. It could be helpful to micro bend the elbows, lift the armpits, roll the collarbones open, and press the blocks together. And then lift them away from your hips and pulse it here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep squeezing the blocks, lift them from your hips as you come into a chair-like pose. And breathing here for 4, 3, 2, 1. Stand tall, press to the heels, engage the glutes, lift them on up. Bend the knees and lower the blocks to the ground. 1 level down, medium. Step back into plank pose. Feet together. Squatty dog. Squatty dog, forward, look to the right. Plank. Bring those feet together and knees wide. And 1 more time. Good. And then plank pose. Separate your feet. Downward facing dog. Roll it forward. Lift your heels. Roll through the spine now as the shoulders come over the wrist. Press the feet down, hands down into an up dog variation. Roll it back. Look inward. Press the blocks away. Downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up. Keep the hips square. And as you exhale, bring your right knee to your right wrist as you roll forward into plank. Press down and slide your right knee up to your right elbow. And then reach the right leg up. Right knee to left wrist. Hug the right heel in towards your bottom. Using your hamstrings, slide it up like an elevator to your left elbow. Right leg lifts up. Exhale, bring your knee to your nose. Keep looking back. And then right foot forward. Lands. Spin the back foot flat. Bring the blocks up to the tall side and make your way on up to your warrior 1, warrior 1.5, and bring the blocks together now. Squeeze the blocks overhead. So you're contracting the muscles, straighten the front leg, and let the arms swing about 2 to 3 times. Letting go and reach them up. And lengthen the legs and swing about 2 to 3 times. We'll do that 3 more times. Own breath. So you squeeze for a breath or 2 at the top. Squeeze and swing. I'd be so happy to be swinging. All right, we're only as strong as our ability to let go. And 1 more. Meet at the top and swing. And we'll make our way into a standing split variation. So ball the back foot, bend the front knee, walk the blocks forward. If you don't have sticky blocks, make sure your blocks are on a sticky mat. Shift the weight forward into your standing split. And then press down through your hands and take your left foot to the left block. Keep the left leg straight. Good. And then splits. And now left foot to right block across your body. Good. And then we'll alternate where you can keep a halfway lift. The left leg swings and which side it taps. So you can keep the halfway lift throughout and even change which direction your left leg goes and which direction you gaze. So you're varying the extension of your left leg, of where it swings upward and where it taps as you bring it forward, and also change your gaze. Fast or slow, as you like. I'm gonna adjust the microphone here for another 3, 2, and 1. Now standing splits, lift the right heel. Lift the right heel as you fold forward. Lower the right heel. You're going to tap the left ankle to the outside or to the back of the right ankle. And then standing splits. Now you can keep with that or lower down to the top of the left foot and make your way into that half primal squat here. And you could pause here as you sit on your left heel. Stay here as long as you need, or shift the weight forward, hands on the blocks. Lift, you could vary where you lift your left leg and lower the right heel down. Half primal squat. We'll keep doing that. Try not to fall down into that half primal squat. You're lowering down with control. We'll do this for about another 10 seconds. Another functional movement pattern, fundamental movement pattern of lifting yourself up from the ground. So you're coming from a different seated position towards standing, lifting yourself up off the ground. Last round. Again, you can keep that heel down if you like. Let's meet in a low lunge. Woo! Lower the blocks to the low side, and we'll meet in plank pose. Plank pose, squatty dog, 2 times to plank. Coming into plank, separate your feet hip width apart. Roll it down into up dog variation. Look inward, rolling it back into downward facing dog. Left leg lifts up. As you exhale, left knee to left wrist, slide it up to your left elbow, and lift the left leg up. Left knee, right wrist, slide it up, right elbow, and left leg lifts up. Keep looking back. Bring your left knee forward, shoulders over wrists. Left foot forward hovers, left foot down, spin the back foot flat. Tall side of the blocks, your warrior 1, and connect the blocks at the top. Press, and now lengthen the legs, let the arms swing. Reach up, press, and let the arms swing. Good, reach up, press, let the arms swing. About 3 more like that. Lift up, press, and swing. Press as you bend through that front knee, and swing, and press for 3, 2, and 1. Lowering the blocks down, reach them forward, follow the back foot, make your way into standing splits, your variation. And tapping, so you press down through the hands in your left foot into a halfway lift, tap your right foot to the right block, reach it back. Changing your gaze and changing which direction you tap and which direction you lift. Don't try to make anything too perfect. Letting go of the right and wrong way, right and wrong ways of moving. Explore, allow yourself to be a little silly, exploring life and movement and being outside self-made boxes and cages here. And without any judgment, noticing where the movement feels most awkward. Good. And let's meet in standing splits. As you fold forward, lift the left heel. And as you lower the left heel down, bend the left knee, you could tap right ankle behind the left to standing splits. Lift the front heel or half primal squat. Top of your right foot, lower the right knee down, have a seat on your right here. Pause, catch up with yourself, process what just happened, what's been happening so far. You can take power of the pause here as long as you like, or lift, shift the weight forward, hands on blocks, and lift the right leg in a different angle as you lift the left heel. And then lower down, try to lower down without collapsing and falling. I often find that the lowering down is more challenging than the lifting off. So you could use your pelvic floor and the awareness of your core to slow you down. That you could think of them as breaks. Another 10 seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Standing splits to a low lunge. Lower the blocks down. And squatty dog. Plank forward, separate the feet. Roll it down, press to the feet, press the hands. Chin in towards the chest, round through the spine. Down dog, lower down to your knees. Yay, way to play. We still gotta play, but way to play with those blocks there. Nice work. Now we come up onto our fingertips. Child's pose as long as you need. Downward facing dog. Bring your right foot forward. So practice how you came in with the right foot forward last time. Keep looking back until the right foot lands. Then the left. You keep fingertips to the ground or hands to your heart. So it'll be like a gorilla, like a hopping gorilla. Fingertips down. You're gonna push yourself back. Doesn't matter how far you come. Feet back. And then you can bring hands to the heart. Fingertips forward. Forward and back. This is a variation of gorilla pose. Forward and back. For another 4, 3. Can't take yourself too seriously. 2, and you're getting strong at the same time. And 1, the best wide-legged forward fold ever. Rotate your toes in. Let that go. I love animal movement because it's hard not to smile. You're a bunch of grown-ups hopping around like a gorilla. Okay, now we roll it up, bend the knees, bring your feet together, be normal only for a moment. And then you're gonna face inward, long side of the mat. Find your feet wide, heels and toes out. Similar shape, similar movement, sideways. So you're gonna squat down, fingertips down. And about 2 to 3 times, you bring your fingertips forward first, and then your legs follow. Life off the mat. And the other way. To the side. Oh yeah! We are seriously silly now. We'll do this for about another 10, 15 seconds. Noticing your response, your feelings to life off the mat, and also not going only forward and back, but sideways. Life gets sideways sometimes. And we'll meet in the same shape or any shape that helps you let go. Another gesture of letting go. Letting go of how, again, things you feel like or you think things should be or need to be. Letting go of those self-limiting thoughts and stories. And slowly make your way onto your hands and knees to the center of your mat in the way that feels most familiar to you. Child's pose as a gesture of self-achieved submission to how this practice has gone so far for you. Self-achieved submission, surrender to change, to newness, to your response or reactions to changes and newness. Letting go of the judgments, letting go of judging your judgments. And allow your breath to settle, way to play. Honoring the power of play and curiosity to these changes. Slowly make your way onto your hands and knees, cross at your ankles, come onto your bottom. And we turn our baskets into blankets for comfort as we lie down onto our backs. Yay for comfort. We need our times of comfort and familiarity in between the newness and the changes. Onto your back for a pose that's often called apasana. Simply bringing your knees into your chest. The praises as the crowd goes wild for finally coming onto our backs. We're taking power in the pause, feeling the effects of all your efforts and your playfulness. Hands on your knees. Allow your hands to guide your knees wide as you inhale. Circle your knees wide. Bring them away from you as you bring them together, and exhale. Hug them in. Inhale. Like we did in in the beginning, this exploration of bringing it inward and then expanding outward. Now take pause in whichever of those variations feel more like home to you. So if it feels better for you to hug your knees inward, breath there, maybe knees outward. Breathe into your back body, that sense of support. We'll meet in happy baby pose. Grab onto your ankles or the soles of your feet or the outer edges of your feet as you reach the soles of your feet to the sky. And meet yourself where you are here. You're going to bring your knees, your feet together, your knees together as you swing your legs overhead only to your shoulders. Your legs may be straightish. And then now, slowly lower down, legs together. And slowly, like you're resisting with your hands as you lower your pelvis down, rhythm of your own breath into happy baby. Couple rounds, 2 to 3 times, only rolling to your shoulders. So you're coming into a variation of plow pose. As you lengthen the back body. And we'll meet in constructive rest pose, soles of feet together, knees out, knees rest in towards each other, feet wide rather, knees rest in. You can place one hand to your heart, one to your belly. As always, feel free to take any posture that you feel like you need to round out your practice. If not, we'll meet in your resting pose. Legs could be straight out. Feel free to take up lots of space if that's what you need. You can stay in this position for some time, for time to reflect or meditation. Reflecting on anything else or in addition to that you can let go of. Reflecting on your self-made cages. Or cages that you feel like you can let go of, any habits, states of being or moving that no longer serve you positively. Letting go with each exhale, giving it to the earth. If you like, you could take a moment to reflect on the new changes, on any newness, new approaches, new directions, whether it be ones that we explored on the mat or off the mat, feeling what it feels like to be in that newness, to explore the spaces and places in betweens, rather be transitions like we did in the postures, whether it be transitions off the mat, welcoming all those feelings, again, without any judgments, without any expectations. Feel all the feels. Allow this to be a safe space to embrace it all. Now, if you like, offer up any of those insights to the vast ocean of consciousness. Let letting yourself be filled with peace and awareness. Softening from the inside out, including the space in between your ears. You are supported by your breath, by the earth, by your community, friends, family. During, within, whatever process of change you are going through right here, right now, you are supported.
Stay here as long as you would like. You could stay a little bit longer, go for it. If not, begin to deepen your breath. Circle your ankles and your wrists. Gently turning your head side to side. Now reach your arms overhead, bring your legs together, big body yawn. On your next exhale, bending your knees, hug them into your chest. Big hug of gratitude for investing this time on your mat. Roll to the opposite side than you normally do. And with awareness, come on up to a comfortable seated position. Eyes could be closed or a soft gaze. Overlap your hands on top of your heart. Think of one thing in your life that you are grateful for, no matter how big or small. We'll end together one cleansing breath. First, empty out all the air from your lungs. Inhale through your nose, fill up. Exhale, ha. And as always, gratitude for practicing together. May it all be a benefit to us and everybody else around us. Namaste. Way to play.